supposed to get around all of the government regulations and rules and restrictions and all of this that restricts so much of the spiritual ideas and beliefs that you all are talking about, that we're talking about here?
Well, I think the way you get around that is you deal with those issues that the government tells you you have to deal with on those terms.
Mm-hmm.
But then you still have the First Amendment right to speak out from a Christian perspective.
Mm-hmm. Thank God for that.
And thank God for that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add? I feel like, you know, we're kind of focusing just on the family. Is there any other area that you'd like to talk to us about
Well,
today?
I think one of the areas that I would like to touch on briefly, and that's the area of divorce.
Okay.
Because divorce has also deteriorated this country, our society. And I read in an article, it is quicker to get a divorce than it is to pay a traffic ticket.
That's correct.
And that's crazy. Because when you have the deterioration of the family structure go down the tubes, there goes your society. And we cannot, as Christians, continue to call ourselves Christians and let the world continue to dictate to us that it's okay to get a divorce if you don't like this model. This is the year 2000. Come September, October, it's 2001.
Exactly.
If you don't like the wife or the husband you got last year, go get your new one in 2001. That is totally wrong.
Well, you know, that's not a new problem. It's been around since Jesus' time and before that
that's
even.
True.
So.
But Jesus said in the beginning, it was not so. But
Well,
because of the hardness of one's heart and one's mind, is the reason that we have so many divorces, not only in America, but throughout the land. And it's got to stop.
So, Odie, what do you think in the area of mental health? How would you approach, you know, if someone were to come into your office or come into the Daddy's Club and say, look, our marriage is on the rocks, but we don't want to get a divorce, we want help. I mean, what kind of counseling would you offer them? What kind of direction would you give them?
Well, it would basically be in the realm of a spiritual context, because obviously we've strayed away. We've tried the world's way, and obviously that didn't work.
Right.
And everything. So we need to get back to the basics, what's already been implanted in the Bible. Okay, so we would take references in the Bible and use those things to problem solve. Anthony mentioned earlier about being submissive towards each other. A lot of times we have in the 90s, 2000, when you mention the word submission or submissive, people they're like, what? You want me to do what?
It's a very negative
right, it's a negative connotation. So what we want to do is to take the negative connotation and put it into the spirit and everything, so that it could be a positive connotation. So we would reference from the Bible quite frequently in order to resolve any issues that might come about.
And the Bible is full of examples of successful marriages when that divine order has been followed, as the father being the head and the mother being next, and then the children.
The beautiful thing about it is it's all in the book, and if you follow it, you cut down a significant amount of your problems.
Yeah,
if you follow it and everything. Some of my closest friends and everything, they use the Bible quite often and everything to run their marriages and everything, and they cut down a lot of the rigmarole that you may have if you weren't in the Word and everything, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
Okay, so so what do you think about I guess maybe I don't need to go into that.
Sure.
Go ahead. What do you think about women being leaders in the church? What do you think about that? Where would the Daddy's Club stand on an issue like that? That's a very hot topic right now.
Well, I noticed today on the news that the Southern Baptists have their convention.
Yeah.
And that was the topic of the day and all the demonstration going on today. Well, the Bible strictly tells us that yes, the woman have her place in the church, but God ordained men to be the leaders, not only of the church, but of their homes.
Correct.
And when you start trying to dilute God's system, you leave yourself open for total chaos. And that's what we have today.
That's correct.
Total chaos. We got to stick to God's word in its true context.
That's what it's there for. And that's what it's there for.
Yeah. What about the extended family? Do you think that part of the problem could be because we are such a fast-moving people now? We can be in different parts of the world within hours, I mean minutes practically, and we just have so much technology at our hands that you think that the loss or the lessening of the extended family is a factor in the breakdown of the overall family? What do you think about that?
I would say to some degree, because when I was coming up as a child in Southern Illinois, our extended family, we stayed with our grandparents and our great-grandparents, because they all lived in Southern Illinois. But as we grew older, came up north, and they got older and started dying off, we saw less and less of the extended family. But I'm here to say this. Modern technology should be an instrument that we use to our benefit.
It should be, yes.
But the problem is not so much modern technology as it is greed, trying to get the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
And we got to the point where we're willing to sacrifice our family structure, just for the dollar. And as Christians, we can't do that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you on that. It's just difficult. I mean, how would you tell someone to just not get a divorce? I mean, what would you say to them?
Well, a lot of the times when people are faced with advertisements in their home, you, in the spirit and everything, you have a lot of controversy that might go on in the home in addition with the advertisement. You have to tell the person, you know, why is this bothering me? Why is this bothering me? What would God say? What would God say? Let's take out the Bible and let's see what He would say about this issue. Okay, because most of the issues that couples face and everything, they're very common. They're very common issues, and all of those issues are addressed in the Bible. Okay, so the thing would be, let's see what God would say about this. Let's reference. Okay, if it's a money issue, you know, let's see what God says about finances. Okay.
Okay. So what about commitment? What do you think about commitment? I mean, do you think it's a lack of commitment?
In the year 2000, as the recent article came out in the Sun-Times, some women, some men don't want a commitment. They just want an open-ended relationship where they can sleep around. If that don't work, they find a new partner, sleep around. If that don't work, they sleep around again. They don't want that type of commitment. But as Christians, we have to stand up, beat the drums, and tell this sick society, you can no longer live this way. Because if you continue to live this way, the total destruction of the family structure that we see today will continue to go on. And it's got to stop.
Yeah. So kind of